Hey guys, Paulo here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm exploring a very different kind of smartphone, the BIGME HiBreak. Unlike the sea of flashy OLED and LCD phones out there, the HiBreak uses an e-ink display for a more relaxed, eye-friendly experience. If you've ever wondered about a phone that doubles as an e-reader or helps you cut down on screen fatigue, this might be the one to watch out for. In this video, I'll cover the design, key features, how it performs day to day, and most importantly, whether this e-ink smartphone is really worth the investment. Let's check it out. The BIGME HiBreak looks and feels quite minimalistic. It's got a plastic back with a subtle texture that's both lightweight and less prone to scratches. In the box, you'll typically find a protective case, which is a nice touch, especially since specialized phones like this often have fewer third-party accessory options. When you hold this phone, it's noticeably lighter than most of the glass and metal devices out there. And for those with smaller hands or who simply prefer a phone that's easy to hold for long reading sessions, this is a definite plus. Along the edges, you'll see standard volume and power buttons on one side, a dedicated function button on the opposite side, and the USB-C port plus microphone at the bottom. There is no headphone jack, but you can use a USB-C dongle or Bluetooth for your audio. All in all, it's a clean, simple design that puts functionality over aesthetics. It's not going to turn heads the way a flagship phone might, but it does strike the right balance for a device focused on reading and comfort. Let's talk about the heart of this device, that e-ink screen. This is what sets the HiBreak apart from other cell phones out there. E-ink is known for being easy on the eyes, particularly if you spend hours reading text. Unlike typical smartphones that refresh the screen constantly, e-ink only updates when needed, which can help reduce eye strain and potentially boost battery life. One big concern with e-ink is usually refresh rate. Scrolling and animations can look choppy compared to an LCD or OLED screen. However, BIGME addresses this with a few interesting features. First is the X Rapid mode. This speeds up how quickly the screen refreshes, making scrolling through social media or web pages less jarring. Anti-ghosting minimizes leftover artifacts or shadows from a previous screen. This is definitely crucial for e-ink because remnants of text can linger if not properly cleared. And finally, X-color and contrast settings. While this isn't a vibrant full-color display in the traditional sense, the phone does offer adjustable contrast mode so images and text look clear. For ebooks and most static content, it's perfectly fine. Yes, there are noticeable bezels around the display, but it feels similar to holding a dedicated e-reader, just sized down into a phone form factor. For many, those extra bezels actually help you grip it without accidentally tapping the screen. If your top priority is reading or low distraction usage, you might just love the BIGME HiBreak. Now, let's address performance. This is definitely where the BIGME HiBreak shows its niche nature. It's not designed for heavy gaming or running resource-intensive apps, but under the hood you'll find a MediaTek octa-core processor with clocks around 2 to 2.3 GHz, 6 GB of RAM, and a storage capacity that's enough for plenty of ebooks, documents, and a modest app library. In standard smartphone benchmarks, you'll see scores reflect a budget or mid-range device, and navigating through the UI feels decent enough, especially for everyday tasks like browsing, chatting, or reading. However, when it comes to heavy 3D games, probably not. You can run lighter titles without too much trouble, but e-ink refresh limitations also mean intense action games will be rough, so it's important to keep your expectations in check. However, the benefit is that e-ink draws such minimal power when the display is static. So if you're simply reading an article or checking emails, the phone stays cool and sips as little battery as possible. This combination of a modest processor and e-ink display is actually quite clever for longevity and for folks who prefer minimal distractions. The same is true when it comes to media from your camera. When you take videos or photos with this display, it does seem to get the job done. However, it is the absolute minimum to get your media or pictures, videos going on this phone. So just something to keep in mind when you're using it. The HiBreak ships with Android 11, which may not be the newest iteration, but it still includes useful features like improved notifications, chat bubbles, and privacy controls. Given that e-ink phones aren't typically about cutting-edge OS, bells and whistles, Android 11 feels perfectly fine here. BIGME includes an eInk center or control panel that lets you tweak the display performance on a per-app basis. For instance, you can enable a faster refresh mode for apps that have more motion, like social media or web browsing, and switch back to a slower, clearer mode for reading PDFs. This is a huge plus because not every app needs the same display settings. You get to fine-tune how your phone behaves depending on whether you're reading an ebook or scrolling your feed. Another neat element, you can make the screen go practically grayscale with minimal brightness, which is fantastic in bright sunlight. You can also turn up the front light in darker rooms. Considering that this is an e-ink smartphone, that adaptability is key to a smooth user experience. However, let's talk about the camera. You don't buy an e-ink phone primarily for the camera, but the HiBreak still offers both front and rear cameras. Despite being basic ones, they're fine for snapping quick pictures of documents, whiteboards, or something you want to save for reference. Under daylight, you can get passable shots, though you'll see lower detail compared to typical smartphones. Video recording caps out at modest resolution, so it's not going to replace a DSLR or even a budget mainstream phone for photo or video quality. Audio-wise, the phone is also modest. It uses the top earpiece as a speaker, so don't expect a booming sound. However, you do have a USB-C port for plugging in headphones or a Bluetooth 5.0 option for pairing wireless buds. If you plan on listening to music or audiobooks frequently, a good set of Bluetooth headphones is the way to go here. The phone's biggest strength though is reading, not cinematic sound, so keep that in mind. Because e-ink only consumes significant power when refreshing the screen, the BIGME HiBreak has a notable advantage in battery efficiency. Its 3300 mAh battery might sound small in a world of 5000 and up mAh smartphones, but e-ink doesn't need as much juice once you're on static pages. In my usage scenario, light browsing, some social media, calls, and a fair amount of reading, the phone comfortably lasted a full day and often had 30 to 40% left by bedtime. A helpful tip though, if you use GPS for navigation, just remember to set your phone screen timeout accordingly. Because the phone tries to conserve battery, it might go to sleep when you least expect it, but if you're using it for calmer tasks like reading or casual note-taking, you'll likely find yourself charging less often than you would with a standard smartphone. So, who is this for? This question is crucial since the BIGME HiBreak isn't going to be everyone's daily driver. If you're trying to reduce screen addiction and focus on essential apps, this phone can do calls, text, reading, and you'll appreciate the slower-paced, eye-friendly display. If you're an avid reader or a student, whether you love ebooks or need to reference PDFs and documents on the go, e-ink is a comfortable choice for longer reading sessions. If you're one with eye strain and is a sensitive user, anyone who deals with eye strain or dryness from regular smartphones might find relief with this device. And for those who are a little bit older or like minimal tech, the black and white screen display is definitely less overwhelming, and the phone's simpler experience might appeal to users who don't need flashy features. If you're looking for a phone to binge watch videos, game heavily, or take top-tier photographs, this isn't the best pick for you. But for those who are seeking an eye-friendly, battery-efficient device that still offers core smartphone features, the HiBreak is genuinely intriguing. So, is the BIGME HiBreak worth it? If you're in the market for an eye-friendly eInk phone that still lets you make calls, run Android apps, and browse the web, it absolutely delivers. Its performance is enough for everyday use, just don't expect flagship speeds or camera quality. The eInk display really shines if you prioritize reading and want to reduce your screen time on a traditional bright phone. Ultimately though, it is a niche device that excels in reading, comfort, and battery-friendly design, but trades off flashy multimedia experiences, and is definitely a phone for minimalists, book lovers, or folks wanting a phone that gently integrates into their daily life without constant pings and notifications. Thanks for watching. If you found this review helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more unique tech deep dives. Feel free to drop your questions or experience in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And until next time, stay curious and keep exploring new tech. See ya.